Do you know anyone who has all their ducks in a row? It just seems like there's a pile of things I need to take care of everywhere I look. As the stuff piles up, I get completely overwhelmed. The laundry, the dishes, the bills, the projects, the yard, the kids, and all of it comes with more stuff. In fact, it gets so bad that the job of reducing, reusing, and recycling becomes another stack. Perhaps the thing we need to do is simplify, to have our stuff support our lives instead of spending our lives supporting our stuff. Let's explore the world of too much stuff today on Hometown. American interior designer Nate Berkus believes that your home tells a story about who you are and who you aspire to be. We represent ourselves through the things we own. I don't believe in trends. I believe in collecting things that you connect with. We should surround ourselves with things we care about and that have meaning. It seems that today we collect a lot of things that have no meaning whatsoever. We don't quite know if we should keep them because we will need them one day, or if we need to find another way to tackle them. So they burden us with their usefulness and overwhelm us with potential without actually supporting our everyday life. Today we're going to meet two people who have spent a lot of time thinking about working with the world of stuff, the stuff we are burying ourselves in. From reduce, reuse, to recycle, to the miraculous concept of simplifying our lives, they give us tips and ideas on how to be free. Let's discover how to simplify and focus on meaning, two ingredients in the remarkable story of us.
Elena Harris, welcome to Hometown. It's really great to meet you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We have a lot of stuff as Americans, and we know that, but sometimes we're a little bit overwhelmed about getting rid of stuff, getting organized. And tell us about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a declutter coach and organizer. So I help people in their homes organize and get rid of the things that they don't need, that they don't want, so that they can find more peace and relaxation and have more time to do the things that they really want to do.
That's awesome. And at the beginning of the year, this is a great time to be thinking about stuff like that. And we've heard about people where it needs to spark joy and things like that. What do you say to people when they contact you and say, I just need some help?
Yeah, so usually we start out with just a 30-minute chat, either on the phone or in their home, and talk about their goals, what they're struggling with. And then generally I do a weekly session with each client. So if they have a full house and it's overflowing and they have the budget, we work maybe 4 hours a week, do a big session and sort and organize together. And I help them make decisions, give them tips, help them organize and sort. And then maybe if they are just working on a small project, maybe 1 hour a week, just to keep things tidy or to tackle a small project like a bathroom or a closet.
Well, we are in Nicole Reedy's home, and why don't you share with us something that we can learn from on our short time here on Hometown about how to tackle a kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, so we are gonna dive into this
Okay,
cabinet.
Let's go.
And so we're gonna just do this shelf today. But if you're working in your own home and you have a little bit more time, I would recommend doing maybe all the food that's not in the fridge. So pull out all of your food related items so that you can sort them by category. Because like in this example, we're just gonna do this one shelf, but for example, there's nuts there. Maybe you have nuts in another cabinet and it's all over the place because you're not organized. Getting all the food out in one place, like your island or your dining room table, helps you see everything. So the first step is to pull everything out. The next step is to sort it into the categories by maybe like the category of what you're keeping. So like nuts, snacks, these kind of things. And then also like expired food, so you can throw that away, and then sorting it back into your place.
All right, let's go to it. All right. Okay. So show us what you would start with.
So I'm assuming there's not too many expired foods in her pantry because she looks very organized. But I would go through and look at all the expiration dates and be sure that there's nothing that's expired. And then sorting by category. So like we've got crackers here. We've got pancake mix. So this would be like breakfast that you're going to cook. Cereal. What's in here? We've got like wraps, so this is more like a lunch thing. This is a basic cornstarch, like a cooking ingredient.
Some
more cereal.
breakfast.
Cereal.
More.
So we're just sorting it into the categories that make sense. Also, while we're looking especially at food, it's easy to be like, everything is a keep unless it's expired. I actually recommend, do you think you're actually going to eat this food? If it's not expired yet, but you're never going to eat it, it's going to expire, so you might as well just get rid of it now.
Right. Okay. So that went pretty fast.
Yeah. So then, in this case, we would wipe this out. So maybe we can get a rag.
Okay. Always a good idea.
And then after cleaning out the space, we can put the keeper items back in a way that makes sense. So we also have some organizing things with us today.
Some bins.
So I'm just gonna set these into here and see how it looks.
Those bins are relatively inexpensive. You can get things like that at the dollar store.
I actually got all of these at Walmart.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you can look on Amazon. And another important thing is I measured this space, or I got the measurements from Nicole before I bought these.
Okay,
so I knew about how they would fit in here.
Okay.
A lot of people tend to buy organizers. They're like shopping, and then they're like, oh, that's a cute organizer, and they buy it.
And
Don't do that.
Doesn't
you
fit.
measure your specific space, and then get the organizers that fit that, not the other way around. So then we're going to take each category. For example, here we've got some crackers. So I'm going to put all the crackers into one bin, and you could organize it a little bit differently by taking things out of the boxes or dumping them into a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love Ziploc bags for just times like that.
Like you can see, these do not fit in this container, so we could, let's see, this is
Consolidate a little bit.
sealed. That's not, that one's open. We could take that and put it in there, but you can play around and see how things work. Oh yeah, there's not much in there. So there.
Yeah, so
Just-
then you've eliminated that.
Get rid of those cardboard, and now it all fits in this bin. And we could make a label on here that says crackers, so that once it's empty, we know that this is where crackers go. When you go to the store, you can see, oh, my cracker bin is empty. Maybe we should get
It's
some
time for-
more. Yeah, and then the reason I bought these kind of containers is
clear
that they
ones?
are taller, so you can see the things in front and in back.
Yes.
So thinking about the vertical and horizontal space
And then
is
being
important.
clear so you can see through them what's
Yes.
in there.
Yep. And then these ones are not clear, but they're smaller, and
Right,
I knew
right.
they were going to be in the front. So. Yeah, I think it looks
Yeah.
a
What
lot
do you think,
better.
Nicole?
It's much cleaner, much easier to see everything. I love the basket idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a game changer for my family, who tends to just kind of shove
everything
stuff
in
in the back.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Well, thank you so much. And your website is?
ElenasDeclutter.com. ELENAS declutter.com.
Well, thank you so much. You've given us some fantastic tips, and thank you so much for helping us tackle some of these things.
You're welcome. And I hope that you guys find that decluttering for yourself at home is a little bit easier after learning these tips.
Thanks.
Erendira, I'm so happy to be able to talk with you today about the Sustainable Living Center. Just the name makes me happy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm very glad. And sustainable living, I think, is something we all want to have going on in our lives. But what does the center do specifically? What's the mission?
So we actually, our mission, our focus is resource conservation for the future. We do that through programs and partnerships. We have 5 main programs. We do an energy efficiency program where community members can get a home energy audit. So they will then receive a prioritized list of things that they can do to make their homes more efficient. And then oftentimes we'll even have funding for helping with those upgrades. So
I have to stop you right there. Funding for helping with the upgrades, because right when you said it, I was thinking, I want to do that, but would I be able to afford to make these changes at my house?
right. So there is some state funding that we've been working with over the actually like almost a decade. Actually, I'll correct that again. It's a little over a decade that we've been doing this work here in our community. And currently we're on pause, but we always encourage people to still sign up, and we have a wait list. So that's the first program.
So on pause for the funding.
On pause for the funding.
Okay,
So,
yes.
but people can still take advantage of the low-cost home energy audit and get those recommendations.
Yeah, it would
because
be
sometimes
really
people
great to
will,
know.
yeah, they'll think that they need windows, but actually windows would be nice, but insulation would be much more energy efficient. So, yeah. Our second main program is the Builders Resupply Store, which is a little store out by the airport that takes donations of new or used reusable building materials and resells them to the public.
And we know it's out by the airport, but can we get that? Can we Google for that address? Or
Yeah, so it's 551 Lockheed Avenue. During the wintertime, we're open 9 to 4 Thursday through Saturday, and during the summertime, we have longer hours, 9 to 6 Wednesday through Saturday. So if you can get the hours right, and we always encourage people to call in advance to make sure we're open, but it's a really fun place to visit, and we have regulars that come there pretty much every week because there's always something new to look at
and good supplies to use to make important changes for your home. So when we talk about sustainable living, we often use that phrase: reduce, reuse, recycle. Those 3 R's. And it seems like we end up with a lot of focus on the recycle part. I mean, I know we're active in our family with recycling, and we live in College Place, so now we have to we don't have a can for it. We actually have to take it over to recycling periodically. And that's important. It's good. But what about those other two words?
So the reduce and reuse is really important. And if you think of a hierarchy of waste, it's like an inverted pyramid. So you've got at the very bottom, the tip should be what is thrown away. And then recycling is up the pyramid a little bit. But then more in the pyramid that we can really make a change in is the top of the pyramid, which is reduce, or I like to call it refuse, because it's not refuse, it's refuse. Refuse to use things that you don't need, right? So
it's saying no to start with,
right.
to stuff you don't
so
really
if
need.
it's, it could be single-use cutlery, many single-use items that if you really think about
Those
it,
Ziploc
you
bags, I
maybe
use way
don't
too
need.
many.
I've tried to reduce my consumption of Ziploc bags. It's really tough.
It is.
But there are a lot of things that are pretty easy. Like in my household, we use very few paper towels. We use a lot of towels that we can wash.
Yes.
And there's tons of other single-use items that if you really think about it, you can
Find
do
another
it.
way.
Exactly. Yeah. Another big area is the repair area. And I think our society has made it very difficult to repair things, but there are a lot of things that we can repair and should more actively try and do that. And as consumers, if we're purchasing, better quality clothing that can be repaired versus just tossed in the garbage after a few uses.
Another area where a lot of people have concern is food waste. when we really have more than we need in our society. What do we do in those situations?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big concern. In fact, about a third of the food that is produced globally ends up in landfills. So that's a staggering statistic. We actually run a farm to school program as well. So we're doing a lot of work educating kids and gardens about where their food comes from. And I think that helps a lot. But some of the things that you can also do is grow your own food. That gives people an appreciation and awareness of how much effort it takes to actually grow food, which it's also very therapeutic. So that's a good positive benefit. But I think that, things like just purchasing what you need, making sure like food planning is helpful, but I understand, and in our society it's very difficult. People are busy and they come home from work and they're like, what do I do? So sitting down, maybe on the weekend and saying, this day I'll do this, and which is very aspirational, but it can help a lot with not only food costs, but or I should probably say that backwards, not only with food waste, but food costs for a household. Because when your food goes to waste, you're throwing that away. And we all know how expensive groceries are these days. So
sometimes we have things that we just don't need anymore, not food items, but other household items, clothing, furniture, the stuff we collect. What should we do with it when we don't need it anymore?
So we have a number of resources here locally. So even back to food, if our garden's super productive and our neighbors and family are tired of getting those extra tomatoes and whatnot,
zucchinis,
the food bank does accept from the public. So and they will even set up a glean if you have like a large plot or something. So that's one way of sharing your abundance during the summertime. For other things like household items, clothing and whatnot, we have Sunbridge and we have Goodwill, and Yeehaw Aloha is also a mission-based option for household donations. Our Builders Resupply, I mentioned, does take donations of newer reusable building materials. So if you have tile left over from a tile job or anything like that, we would take that. We also have a paint drop-off. So there's a company called Paint Care, and they recycle paint. So a lot of people think that if
I did not know that. That's helpful.
If their paint gets frozen or something, it really can't be used, but it can be recycled. And so we're actually, as consumers, paying a recycling fee when we purchase paint. So it's always a good thing to bring that full circle and just drop it off at Builders. We'll tell you if we can't take it, but and the household hazardous waste will take that as well. Household hazardous waste will also take fats, oils, and greases. So if you're saving up your bacon grease and your other, emptying out the fryer, those kinds of things, they will take that at no charge and recycle it as well. What else is there? We have glass recycling out by the airport as well.
You do?
So there's
a
company
called
company called Big Recyclers, and they've taken on the challenging task of glass recycling. This has been a hot topic for our community for many, many years, and they're providing a solution. It's a membership-based opportunity to take your glass to their facility, and it's also out by the airport. If you Google Big Recyclers, it'll come right up.
Okay.
So, and then I guess finally I'll just mention the AAUW takes books, and that's the American Association of University Women, and they use those funds to provide scholarships for women. So all these things are ways that you can, bring that product to good use. And even if you're not 100% sure that it is recyclable, they will tell you at the point of drop-off if it's not.
So those are some things we can do to reduce. And now we're talking about reusing or repairing, right? I love how these are all our words. But electronics are so tough to repair. That's an area for us where I feel like because in sort of a consumer-based society and a capitalistic type system, it's really easy to have companies kind of become greedy. Like, well, if we just make this thing so that when it breaks, that's kind of it. People just buy another one.
And you have this idea of built-in obsolescence,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
even if the technology wasn't advancing at such a rapid rate, you would still have systems that just don't hold up over time. Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges that we really have with reusing and keep using.
Yep. We also do education and outreach. So we typically host a series of public workshops, and that's when that's been brought up, a repair workshop, like how to repair certain things. That's something that we're definitely considering doing.
I love it. Well, what a great organization, Sustainable Living Center. I just want to thank you again for taking a few minutes to talk with us about it, and maybe we will all be inspired to put all of those R's into practice.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, hello there, friends. The Walla Walla Valley would not be the same if it wasn't for fog. Without fog, it just wouldn't feel the same. So we're out here in the fog at Bennington Lake. Bennington Lake is right there. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. Change the scene. Bennington Lake. This is a community hotspot for people who are looking for a place to get outside, to go walking, fishing, biking, boating, all in that order. And we're out here walking around it and just getting out in nature, because we rarely get out in nature, right? Very rarely outside. And so we figured, New Year's resolution, we have to change that. We're here in the outdoors, making it happen. And you're welcome to come with us. It's not like you have anything else to do. Come along. Come along. We're going to continue. If you've come out to Bennington Lake in the last few months, you'll know that the parking lots are closed and the boat ramp is closed for construction. The construction taking place here is specifically in regards to repairing and improving the intake tower for the lake. Additionally, the current boat ramp is also being replaced. Construction is estimated to be finished by February 28, 2025. So despite Bennington Lake being a great place to come with your family and to get outside, the reason why this place was built is because back in 1931, there was a flood that devastated the city of Walla Walla. On March 31st, 1931, due to heavy rainfall, Mill Creek flooded Walla Walla, causing extensive damage. Virgil B. Bennington, the president of the Chamber of Commerce at the time, knew that something drastic needed to be done. He then lobbied the U.S. Congress for flood protection, which resulted in the Flood Control Act of 1938. Originally known as Mill Creek Reservoir, the lake was renamed in 1992 to honor Virgil B. Bennington. If you didn't know about that, if you're from the area, you probably do. We're not from the area originally, so this is something that we're just learning about. And it's interesting, it's fascinating. It's a great place to come out, and we love to come out and run around the lake. And I know that there's always a lot of people out here enjoying the nature. So if you haven't visited, highly recommend that you do. And yeah, thanks for watching another segment of Discovery, and blessings to all of you. And we will see you on the next episode right here on Hometown. Bye-bye.
So many people today are collecting experiences instead of things. We are also learning ways, old and new, to be good stewards of the things we do have, to simplify and not waste. Besides, we can't take it with us anyway. Mark 6 is a good reminder of this principle. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. What a difference simplicity makes. And what a wonderful gift it is to give the things we don't need a chance to be loved and used in a meaningful way. I'm feeling lighter already, and it's time to find a new home for this beautiful coat. I'll see you next week on our next episode of Hometown. Do you love uplifting stories of people in our community as much as we do? When you give a gift, you make local, uplifting, community-focused programming like Hometown possible. To find out how, just use the QR code or visit our website at the link in our bio. And don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more great stories about our valley.